What's up everybody, my name is Tiana Camille Vines and welcome back to my channel. Hey guys, it's me. If you can tell, this is editing me where I'm just like in my pajamas sitting in bed while editing my videos. As you can see, I am currently still editing the Barbie video, obviously because you're watching it, so let me know what you think. But normally I wouldn't do this because I have to hold the camera and it can get a bit, as you can see the camera is shaking, it can get a bit tiring. But I just wanted to insert a quick thing, which is that I made another YouTube channel, more specifically a gaming channel. Now I know I once said that I didn't want to make more YouTube channels, I wanted to keep everything in one channel, but then I was like, you know what? F it. We're making a separate channel just for gaming alone. So I did. It doesn't have much on it right now. Right now, as I'm recording this, it only has 2 Sims videos. But I just started playing Life is Strange, so I'll start posting those videos up to soon as well. You know, after I finish Life is Strange, we'll just add more and more games onto it. It is my first time playing it, so I hope you enjoy watching me do that if you decide to check out that channel. Hopefully the first video of that game will be up by the time this Barbie video is up, but if not, just be patient, okay? But yeah, that's it. Let's get back to Barbie. So, I'm really hoping that it is still March by the time this video goes out, because while last month was all about Black history, this month is all about women. Now you must be thinking, Tiana, if it's Women's History Month, why this movie? Well, the answer is, I don't know. I genuinely do not know, you guys. For some reason, I've been wanting to rewatch Barbie movies. I don't know if it's because I rewatched the Margot Robbie Barbie movie with my mom to show her how incredible it was, or if it's because other YouTubers had decided to watch full Barbie marathons for some reason, and I decided to watch it, and I'm like, you know what, I kind of want to watch Barbie movies again. I don't know. Maybe I was influenced, or maybe Barbie is finally taking control of our minds and telling us to do her bidding. I don't know. I just know that I was in the mood to watch an old Barbie movie that I watched as a kid, and I decided, you know what? Because I already watched it, let's just do a review on it. Let's just give my thoughts on the movie that I've seen once as a kid and have now watched again as an adult. And I figured, you know, since it's Women's History Month, this counts, right? I think it counts. I'm gonna say it counts because Barbie is a woman, a fictional woman who I know we all kind of despised and also loved at the same time when we were growing up, but she is a woman and she deserves some recognition. Okay? Besides, I definitely failed you when it came to Black History Month because I only was able to react to one movie because, you know, all those trailers were coming out as well. So I was like, okay, let me react to those trailers. But then I was like, I forgot to react to another Black History Month movie or another Black movie in honor of the month. That's on me, and I am very sorry. This is why I should not make promises that I cannot keep. Let's start off with Barbie and Nutcracker, a film I'm sure many of us have seen as our very first Barbie movie because, if I'm not mistaken, is the first animated Barbie movie. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Also, because this is a review, I now have a scoring sheet. So I will be judging this movie and feature movies with a rating system. All categories will be out of 10, and with 0 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. You know, each category won't be for every film. Like, each film will have different categories or something like that. So, for example, all films will have a category for plot, a category for characters. Like, how good was the plot? How good were the characters? Did I hate them? Did I love them? All films will have that. But you know, then you have films that are gonna have things like music and scoring, if that's like very prominent in the film, while other films will be more focused on like cinematography or something like that. And keep in mind, again, not a professional filmmaker, this is not my professional opinion, this is my amateur thoughts. And by amateur thoughts, I mean this is just whether or not I like it or hate it. Anyway, I realize I've been talking way too long with this intro, so let's just get into it, alright? Barbie and a Nutcracker is a 2001 film, the first ever animated Barbie film as well, I believe. And for its time, the animation wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, mind you, because There, for example, there was a scene where Barbie was trying to pet the horse, but it just she was waving at it, like it looked like there was no contact whatsoever, so it looked very awkward. But again, this is 2001. I think they had just started using this technology for future animated stuff. It was like motion capture technology, so it was like it was a guinea pig for what sooner became, I believe, some of the better highlights of animation technology in the future. So right off the bat for animation, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Moving on, let's talk about plot. The story immediately starts off with Barbie helping her little sister Kelly try to go through her ballet routine. I think it was like a solo ballet routine, but Kelly, again, is struggling, which I totally get because I took ballet for a little bit as a kid, and let's just say that the struggle was real. I guess in a way to uplift her spirits, Barbie decides to tell her sister the story of Clara. Clara is a young woman that seems to want a bit of adventure in her life, and when her aunt makes a sudden surprise visit for, I guess, the Christmas holidays, she gives Clara a nutcracker. Long story short, Clara falls asleep and wakes up to see her wooden nutcracker fighting off an army of mice. I know, weird. She tries to help only to get shrunk down Alice in Wonderland style by a villain known as the Rat King, who is played by Tim Curry, I'm sorry, with the Nutcracker needing to return to his former self because apparently he's not a Nutcracker at all, and Clara needing to get back to her normal size. The two set off a journey to go find what is called the Sugar Plum Princess, who can hopefully reverse the spell done on both of them and defeat the Rat King. On this journey along the way, they encounter dancing fairies, children who used to live in, I guess, in a gingerbread style village that was destroyed by the Rat King's people, a rock monster, and much more. Clara also somehow learns that the Nutcracker was originally the prince of the land who disappeared all of a sudden, and who, funnily enough, everyone dislikes. Everyone dislikes the prince, and they are not afraid to voice their opinions about him, even to his face, despite not knowing that the Nutcracker is the prince. I found that very funny, actually. And so, as normal prince and random girl stories go, the Nutcracker / Prince Eric and Clara slowly start to fall in love with each other, expectedly. And then suddenly, the prince and two of their companions, Captain Candy and a Major Mint, get captured, and it's up to Clara to save them, which she immediately does. And then, you know, the Rat King is defeated, everyone is saved, and it turns out that Clara was the Sugar Plum Princess all along. Sure. Oh, and there's also a lot of unprompted dancing at the end. Like, literally they just start dancing out of nowhere once the Rat King's defeated, and I'm just sitting here like, what? I get it. There is some dancing going on in the movie, like with the fairies doing ballet and stuff, and I guess they're trying to teach Clara how to ballet, but I couldn't really tell. After the dancing, you know, Clara decides, I want to stay in this fantasy world with the prince, my true love. But that's not the end. Oh, no. Really quickly, the Rat King suddenly comes out of nowhere with his weird bat minion, takes Clara's locket, which was supposed to get her home in the first place, opens it. Even though he's defeated by a snowball, because he opened it, Clara disappears and wakes up back in her grandfather's house. Until Clara's aunt walks in that morning with Prince Eric, or at least a man who looks like Prince Eric. Can argue that he was a reincarnation of the prince or something, but he clearly recognized Clara. He even gave her her locket back despite it being left behind when she disappeared from the fairy tale land, which name I forgot. Somehow, the prince traveled to the real world to be with Clara, I guess, which kind of defeats the purpose of him getting returned to normal to rule his kingdom, because does this mean that he left his kingdom behind? Genuinely confused about that. And anyway, the story ends, and then suddenly we're back with Barbie and her sister Kelly, and that's when I was reminded that, oh, this was a story being told by another person in the movie. Oops. Kelly, for some reason, just decides that Clara's braveness is what made her a princess in the first place, and I guess that inspires Kelly to finish the solo and not make any mistakes. I don't know. Take from that lesson what you will. Like, genuinely, I feel like there was supposed to be a lesson there for us, but it just didn't hit. Originally, I had wrote 8 out of 10, but you know what? Thinking back on it now, I'm actually gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for plot. Looking back at this story, I don't think I know the Nutcracker story as much as I thought I did. Because now that I think about it, I think I've only ever seen that story through this Barbie interpretation of it. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like this story could have been done without all the ballet. Not to say that the dancing wasn't enjoyable to watch, it really was. It was great to watch, and I understand like all the work the motion capture team put in to get the accurate ballet dance moves that they needed for their characters. So like I'm not dissing on it, but it's like it didn't feel like it was a part of the story, if that makes sense. Especially, again, I mentioned this already, but especially when we reach the end and everyone just starts dancing out of nowhere after the Rat King is defeated. Like the least you could have done was put a ball in that people can dance at so it makes more sense. Regardless, I will give the choreo, at least like the dancing choreography, a 9 out of 10, because again, I really loved the dancing scene between Captain Candy and Major Flint. Also, again, I'm not an expert on choreography whatsoever. This is just whether or not I enjoyed it or hated it. You know, this isn't about whether or not it's technically correct with the ballet moves. And while we're on the topic of like the choreo and stuff, for the music, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Again, not an expert, but this movie is a very orchestra style type music. I guess that makes sense if the Nutcracker was like a ballet story. I'm assuming it is. Again, this is my only interpretation of it. And while it was nice to listen to, it's not my cup of tea. That's not really my style of music, so that's why it doesn't get like a 10 out of 10 or whatever. Because this isn't my style. So 8.5. But also, looking back at it, it did help a little with the comedic timing in the film, which there's quite a bit of comedic stuff in this film. That was more than I was expecting. But like, for example, when the Nutcracker gets hit by like multiple apples, the music like kind of matched with that. It just made it a little bit more funny. So yeah. So again, 8.5 out of 10 for the music / scoring. Now that we talked about animation, plot, and music / choreo, let's talk about the characters. We'll start off with our two main protagonists, Clara and the Nutcracker / Prince Eric. Going into this film, because I barely remember it since I was a child when I seen this, I wasn't sure what to expect from the characters. I wasn't sure if I was even gonna like them, but after watching it, I actually like them a lot. Like, hell of a lot. Clara is kind and clever and brave, which apparently is all the makings of a sugar plum princess. She was not afraid to step up to the Rat King, not once, but twice. And even when she wanted to return home, she stayed in that world so she could save Eric. So she's very selfless. And as for Eric, he's quite charming, isn't he? Like, I'm not gonna lie, hearing his voice again brought back so many memories. Because I think he was like one of my childhood crushes when I was a kid. Just from the voice alone. Like, that was a charming prince that we got that I haven't seen in a while. No, like, for me, he is more charming than Prince Charming himself. He also can fight, like, super well. Like, he's actually an incredible fighter. Like, in the very beginning, when he's fighting off the Rat King's army in Clara's home, he's doing it with one arm. And he's taking all of them down with no sweat. He's also very resourceful, and despite having been turned into a nutcracker, he doesn't seem to be resentful of it, if that makes sense. In fact, he actually finds ways to use it as his advantage. Like when he saves Captain Candy from falling down like this cliff chasm thing, he takes off his wooden arm in order to be able to reach Captain Candy to pull him back up. So this is a person who is very much someone that you're like, oh, I could follow this person. He's a very resourceful prince. He's not mean, he's not rude, he knows what he's actually doing. Prince Eric is very charming that I highly suggest we name him as a new Prince Charming. I will say that I'm not sure how I feel about Clara and Prince Eric falling in love so quickly throughout the movie, but there was chemistry there. I won't deny that. There was chemistry, that was the potential for something. I'm just not sure it's, you could easily say true love, but it's a kids animated movie, a fantasy one at that. It's bound to happen. And then there are their two companions. We won't talk about the children just because they weren't in the movie as much. I don't even know why they were really featured. They were kind of just like there to be there. But we will talk about Captain Candy and Major Mint. Just to quickly get this out of the way, I won't discuss it in detail, but I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on people of color characters being played by white actors, or even just actors that don't fit the ethnicity. I want to hear your opinions on that because I love Captain Candy and I love the voice actor who plays Captain Candy, but they don't match. Like, I'm assuming Captain Candy is of Indian descent, or if not, just a straight up Indian man. So why is he voiced by a Canadian white actor? You know, like, what is everyone's opinion on diversity when it comes to voice acting? Because you never really know who's voicing the characters until you look it up yourself. And if you didn't have a problem with them before you saw who the actor was, then is it an issue? Because I'm thinking back to like to other projects like Black Butler, when Prince Soma and what's his name, Agni, when they come in, they're voiced by like two white men and not Indian actors. I don't know. Again, I don't want to really get into that for this. I just want to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. Like, do you hate it? Do you not care about it? Do you want it to change but know that it won't? Like, give me your opinions on POC characters being voiced by people not of POC descent, or even white characters being voiced by people of color. Like, I generally want to hear both sides. Anyway, back to Captain Candy and Major Flint. Captain Candy is apparently Prince Eric's old friend. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's the only person in this fantasy land who speaks kindly of the prince. Major Mint is, you know, the major of the army. These two are also very interesting together because Captain Candy is more open to suggestions, whereas Major I want to say Major Flint. Major Mint is more do as I say, and I'm the one who knows what's best. Does he learn from it? I don't think so. He gets a little embarrassed when he realizes that the Nutcracker is Prince Eric because, you know, he's one of the people that was talking shit about Prince Eric. Both of them are actually a very good comedic duo. They brought a lot of levity to the situations that the group found themselves in. And again, I liked the dance sequence at the end, despite how unprompted it was. I do like their part in it. Their part was quite funny to watch and I enjoyed it immensely. And lastly, for characters, we will talk about the Rat King, who is probably my favorite character in this entire film. Again, he's played by Tim Curry. The Rat King, like any tyrant out there, needs to get rid of the Nutcracker so he can keep his power. The Rat King is also a very funny character as well. I absolutely love his reaction when reading about the description of the Sugar Plum Princess. He said his reaction and I immediately said the same thing the same time as him. It was so funny. Also, he's very creative with his spell work. Like, I love the incantations he uses for the spells that he casts. I never watched all the Barbie films and I only remember a few, but so far he is my favorite Barbie villain. Maybe that'll change if I decide to rewatch some other Barbie films or watch other Barbie films that I've never seen before for the first time. But yeah, he's probably my favorite. Not sure how I feel about that bat sidekick of his though. So with these characters overall, I'm gonna give the characters of the entire story about a 9 out of 10. Alright, this last category is a quick one. Not much to say other than that the world building could use some improvement. I don't fully have an understanding of how Clara and the Nutcracker ended up from Clara's grandfather's living room all the way into this fantasy ice cave world. I'm assuming through magic, because, you know, Alice in Wonderland style seemed to be a theme here. But regardless of that, as they're exploring the land itself feels a bit bare. Like, there was an establishing shot somewhere in the film that showed like a castle in the distance, but not much else. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know how I feel about this because it looks bare. It just looks like nothing. For me, I kind of just wish there was just a bit more detail in the world building. I am also okay with what we got because again, 2001, I think their main focus was getting the motion capture on those ballet dances. So yeah, for final score on world building, I gave it a 7 out of 10. All right. That is all I have to say on my review of Barbie and the Nutcracker. So yeah, combining all my scores, which have actually changed as I've been recording this video, from what I put in my notes. Here's the scoring I had. Here it's in overall, because I put 6 categories, so it's out of like 60 points. And then I'll have the overall right here. So whatever score you see on my screen is my final scoring. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed watching this review. If you have seen this movie, I would love to hear your thoughts on it, or if you have seen it once as a kid or seen it twice, once as a kid, once as an adult. Give me your thoughts. I want to hear them. Okay, hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more, check out my gaming channel if you're interested in any of that, and I will see you all next time. Okay, peace. Bye.